It's been used as a backdrop to famous Hollywood blockbusters. It's a UNESCO heritage site, and it's one of the most Instagram travel destinations in the world. It's also located in a region that tourists have been avoiding ever since conflicts started erupting again throughout the Middle East. Hi, I'm Annie. I'm a frequent traveler, and I run the account Average Girl Does Cool Things. And I'm talking, of course, about Petra, one of the most famous archaeological sites in the world. And yeah, the pictures are gorgeous, but is it really worth a 2-hour drive through the desert to see a canyon and some ruins? Let's discuss. But before we do, be sure to hit that subscribe button for more travel inspo and how-to content. Okay, first of all, if you're not familiar with Petra, Petra is called the Rose City for obvious reasons when you see the photos. Now, the exact date of Petra's construction is unknown, but they found evidence of life in Petra as far back as 8500 BC. The city began to prosper as the capital of the Nabatean Empire from the 1st century BC, which grew rich through trade in frankincense, myrrh, and spices. Petra was later annexed to the Roman Empire and continued to thrive until a large earthquake in 363 AD destroyed much of the city in the 4th century AD. The earthquake, combined with the changes in the trade routes, eventually led to the city's downfall, and it was ultimately abandoned. Now, in 1812, a Swiss explorer named Johannes Burckhardt went to go rediscover Petra. And I say rediscover because it wasn't actually lost, like the Bedouins knew where it was the whole time. But his expedition brought it back to Western consciousness, and since then it's become a much beloved tourist destination and certainly the Kingdom of Jordan's most popular tourist attraction. Now, gorgeous as it is, Petra is not exactly convenient to get to. Aqaba is the closest city or town that has an airport. My group flew a charter flight from Sharm el Sheikh in Egypt over to Petra Jordan, and we flew into like an FBO, a private airstrip, which made life so much easier. But you can fly into Aqaba, or you can fly to Amman, which has the largest international airport in Jordan. If you fly to Queen Alia Airport in Amman, you can take a jet bus, which is between $12 and $17, takes about 3.5 hours to get out to Petra, or you could take a taxi, which is obviously going to be faster but more expensive. If you fly into Aqaba, again, a taxi, 2.5 hours, or you can take the bus, which same situation as going from Amman. Our tour bus took about 2-ish hours to get out to the site. Your third option is actually to fly into Israel. You can fly into Elliot Airport and then cross over the border, but you would have to arrange for a visa, so extra steps there. And one of the things I didn't know about Petra is that it is surrounded by a highly developed area called Wadi Musa. There are some very nice hotels in Wadi Musa, so you can spend several days exploring Petra and the area, which honestly I would highly recommend. Okay, let's talk about what to expect actually going to Petra and entering Petra itself. The entrance fee for Petra is not cheap. It's anywhere between 50 and 90 Jordanian dinar, which translates to about 70 to 127 US dollars. What's the difference? It lies in whether you have a accommodated stay or not. An accommodated stay means you are staying overnight in Jordan. If you're doing that, then you get a little bit cheaper ticket. If you're just coming in for the day like we did, expect to pay the higher range. Now, once you enter through the gates, you have a long walk down the main trail. From the visitor's entrance, it's about a 3.4 kilometer walk down through the main trail, through the Sick, which is the famous canyon, to the Treasury, which is that gorgeous, famous building facade, over to the theater, and then to the back of the temple complex where there are 2 restaurants waiting you. For my group, because we were limited on time, we only made it to the theater before we had to turn around and make the trek back, because we were looking at about a 40-minute walk to get back. Now, if you are worried about accessibility in Petra, they do have golf carts that can take you from the entrance down or from the Treasury back up, but they are not included in your ticket. So expect to pay about 20 US dollars each way for that, or I think you can buy a round trip ticket for somewhere in the middle of that. They also have these horse guys. Horse guys are very persistent. They will offer you a ride from the entrance down to the entrance of the Sick. Now, this is included in your ticket, but I really didn't see anybody taking them up on it. Personally, I was wearing a dress. I didn't really want to ride a horse. I was comfortable walking, but the horse guys were like very adamant, and they would like accuse our guide of telling us we couldn't ride the horses. Like, it was a little bit of an uncomfortable situation. But just know that like the horse guys are there and you can ride a horse from the entrance down to the Sick. I mentioned the golf carts before. There are lots of extra little fees that can jump on you in Petra. For example, you've seen pictures from this high point of people overlooking the Treasury. It does cost more money to go up there. You see people taking pictures with camels in front of the Treasury. it costs more to take a picture with the temple. This is sort of a common thing in Egypt, and then as we experience in Petra as well, is that people who are offering to like help you aren't like just doing it out of the goodness of their heart usually. Like they're doing it to either draw you over to their stuff, or they're doing it because they're going to ask you for a tip. So just know that going into it. If you don't care, if you want to like pay the guy, no worries, but know that like nothing's really free. And if you're worried about any of this, we always recommend hire a local guide who knows what they're doing. And it's super helpful because there's a lot in Petra where you just aren't going to know what you're looking at. There's like no signage whatsoever. So it's really helpful to have a guide who can point things out along the way and help you to understand the history and the context of what you're seeing. And of course, it wouldn't be an Average Girl video if we didn't talk about the bathroom situation. The bathroom situation throughout Petra was great. There were clean, usable bathrooms throughout. There was one like composting toilet sort of close to the treasury, which makes sense because of course they're not going to have plumbing out there. The worst bathroom we probably saw was up at the visitor center. They didn't have any toilet paper and they had those little like the hose wands. So as always, like just pack some toilet paper in your pocket, you'll be fine. There are also some really great souvenir shops throughout Petra, so bring a little extra cash. They were happy to take Jordanian dinar, Egyptian pounds, or US dollars. I'm sure they would probably also take euros as well. Bring plenty of small bill cash so that you can haggle. I bought this beautiful ring that I haggled from 100 US dollars, which he was tripping, down to about 40, which probably was still too much, but I'm very happy with my purchase, so whatever. Now, the most surprising thing about our trip to Petra was how empty it was. We went during May, it was Ramadan, so I think that helped a little bit with the crowds. However, we were also told that tourism has really taken a hit since the conflict between Israel and Gaza has broken out. So I actually looked up the numbers to see how many people have visited Petra in the past to how many people are visiting Petra now. So in 2023, over 1 million people visited Petra, which was a great rebound from the 2020-2021 COVID years when they had about 200,000 people come. However, from 1 million in 2023, it dropped to 457,000 in 2024. Now, I will say, as a tourist in Petra, I felt very safe, and we had a policeman on our bus the entire time, so we didn't encounter any issues. And the people working at the site were obviously very happy to have us and very accommodating and kind, and we had a really great experience. All in all, Petra is an amazing place to visit, and I'm honestly sorry we didn't have more time to explore. There's so much more to see in Petra, especially if you are into hiking. It is a hiker's paradise. There's just so many trails and little areas that you can go and explore and be a part of history. So it'd be a really great place to stay for a couple nights and go hike around and see all that there is to offer in Petra. So all in all, is Petra worth the trip? I would say absolutely. It is one of the most stunningly gorgeous places I have ever seen with my own eyes. The history, the craftsmanship, you really feel like you are walking through an ancient city, because you are. It's amazing how accessible it is. You could actually go in and like touch it. You can touch the rock, you can climb up on it. It's really pretty stunning. And I think it's something that everyone should try to see at least once in their lifetime. Now, this day trip to Petra came in the middle of my trip to Egypt. If you want to know more about that trip, you can go watch this video here. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions about visiting Petra, leave them in the comments below. And until next time, go create a life you love.